Yo, 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 we live on location. Me and the blackest one got a special treat for y'all today, man. NBA Hall of Famer, 4-time NBA champ, NBA Finals MVP, 6-time All-Star, 4 times All-NBA, and for a first time ever, we got a whole damn night. A real night in real life. We got Sir Tony Parker in the building, ladies and gentlemen. TP, we appreciate you, man. Should we just say sir or TP or night, sir? How do we do this?
TP is fine. TP is fine.
However you want it.
No, man, we appreciate you pulling up, TP.
Thanks for having me, but TP is fine.
Yes, sir.
First of all, bro, we appreciate you being on the show. You know, big fan of yours. A lot of wars against you. Got the opportunity to play against you in high school. So appreciate you being on our show, rocking with us, bro. We really do.
Thanks for having me.
When you first got to the league.
Hold up, Black. I know you usually do that, but you know, we tried to get this going one time before, so I want to just run this little clip for TP just to refresh his memory. You got that pick with MJ after the game. What did that do for a young Tony Parker? Look how confused D Miles look. We can now, but you. D Miles' face was the funniest part of that.
Okay. My computer is definitely not working, but I'm gonna try to get my.
You can literally hear the connection ending.
Can you hear me now? 1, 2, 3.
Oh
1, 2, 3.
Man, that was so terrible.
Because I see you
so
perfectly,
bad.
and I see everybody perfectly.
Do y'all want to just try and reschedule it when he can get the laptop right?
Let's find another time, and hopefully there'll be no storm, and we'll do it right. No problem.
Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, and so here we are. Go ahead, Black. Now you can get back to it.
This was in the making, man. You know, we tried to bring our friends, TP, and, you know, we just had to show y'all what happened. But when you first got to the league, who was the first person to bust your ass?
The first person, I got to go with Stephon Marbury. Stephon Marbury, man, he was really good and very
was this
physical.
Phoenix or New Jersey?
Yeah, Phoenix.
Okay.
Phoenix. I remember we played them in the playoffs in 2003, and you know he banked that shot. You know, game 1 they beat us, and he banked that buzzer beater. It was an unbelievable shot, and man, he was killing me. The first 2 games, he was going at me, and basically welcome to the NBA because you know my rookie year. I did very well, played great against Gary Payton, and we lost against the Lakers, but I played well, you know. And that was my first time that I was like, man, this guy is like really, really good. I'm gonna have to step up my game if I want to do something in those playoffs. And I got back at him, but man, he was really good. Stephon Marbury. Then I remember too, Steve Francis too at the beginning when I first arrived in the league. Steve Francis was no joke with the ISOs and stuff like that. and it was good test for me to try to play good defense, stay in front of them and all that kind of stuff. I remember Pop was like, okay, if you can play defense on those 2, you might have a chance in the NBA.
Yeah, straight up. You was born in Belgium, but you was raised in France. Me and Q done been to Belgium before. You know, our rookie year, we did a Nike thing in Belgium and France. It was actually, it was France, wasn't it?
That was when TP was a young boy. That was when remember that when Nike was doing all those them kind of like the mixtape commercials, and it was like they had a lot of soccer ones going on because Ronaldinho was like the biggest thing. Yeah. But when we got to France, you was like the Tony Parker gonna be the next. Tony Parker gonna be like you was the buzz around there. You was coming up then, but like we went out there for our Nike trip after our rookie year. We was out there for like. On a overseas for like it was probably about 3 weeks, wasn't it, Black?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we went all over the place.
Man. Yeah, went to Belgium and all this stuff. So your first love was soccer.
So basically, my dad is American. He played basketball college in Loyola, and after Chi-Town, he went to have a career in Europe, and his first stop was Amsterdam, and that's why he met my mom. And then he went to Belgium and played in Belgium for a couple of years. And so that's why I was born in Belgium, but I only stayed 6 months over there. So I was a baby. And then we moved to France. And both of my brothers, they're born in France. But me, I was born in Belgium, but I basically grew up in France. But I basically, in a house where I had an American father, I had a mom from Europe, and I always felt like I grew up with both cultures and try to have the best of both worlds. And so that's how I grew up. And because my dad was from Chicago, from the get-go, I was a huge Bulls fan, huge Michael Jordan fan growing up. And that was at the time when, Michael played the Magic in 91. And then in 92, it was the Olympics. Yeah. So I played soccer. France, in France, soccer is the number one sport.
Right.
So I played soccer 6 to 9 years old. And then when I saw the NBA Finals with Magic and Jordan, I decided to switch sports. And I finally, the first time I saw Michael play, it was in 1992 during the Olympics. They played the preseason game in Monaco. The famous the hard practices that Magic was talking about.
Yeah.
All that happened in Monaco. And so I went to see France against the US. They lost by 50. That was my first time watching Michael Jordan play.
Tell me this, when you was a young boy and you first got to see, like you said, Michael and Magic playing, and that's what turned you. Can you remember to that feeling you was getting wow, this is amazing?
It was like magic, basically what I was watching on TV. And I knew my dad was a basketball player, but I was into soccer. I saw the World Cup and I wanted to play soccer. But I don't know, when I saw the NBA Finals, the hype behind it and the way that Magic played, the way that Michael played, in those finals, I was looking this as a kid. I was like, I want to become the first French guy to play NBA. When I saw that, I was like, I want to switch sports.
That's crazy.
Tell us about the experience of your first time meeting Mike.
So the first time I met him, I was 14 years old. My dad organized a trip to Chicago, and we went to see the Bulls. So it was during the 96 season where they had 72 wins. Yeah. And so it was just amazing, the energy in the arena and everything was crazy that year because Michael was back for 4 years and they were having an unbelievable season. And so my dad organized a meet and greet after the game. It was in December before Christmas. It was during our vacation, school vacation. And I was able to meet him. And so I didn't say anything. I was shaking, to say hi to him. And, but I was just so happy, and it gave me, that motivation that's what I want to do when I grew up. I want to play in the NBA.
Was he glowing when you seen him?
Yeah, it's like an aura. It's unbelievable. The charisma that Michael has, it's unbelievable. He makes you feel like you looking at him like this. You never saw something like that. He's the only person ever that in my whole life that I've been like this, and I'm like. He's glowing, It's
oh no,
crazy.
We know the feeling.
The aura is just unbelievable.
It's real. It's real.
I met a lot of famous people, in Hollywood or
I
soccer,
say that too. I say that all the time.
Any kind of sports. He's the only one that I'm like, wow.
And it's every time. That's the crazy
every time
part
I
about
see
it.
him, of course,
it's every time.
I met him many times, and he became a friend. He's the most famous guy that I have on my phone,
Right.
I always joke with my friends, when Michael called me, look, Michael Jordan is calling me. I always joke, even today, after winning all those championships, I still every time I see him, it's crazy. One of my favorite time, he came with Charlotte. So I retired in 2019. The year after, Charlotte comes to France, to play the European Games. And Michael came and we hang out and we went out at a restaurant. So he invited me to dinner. So I was so happy, I go to dinner with him. And then, close to the dessert, he's like, hey, Tia, I want to go out tonight. I'm like, what you mean go out? He's like, I want to go out. Let's go out to the club. And I'm like, what? You want to go out? What? I was like, okay. So I called my friends and I was like, hey, we're coming out tonight. And Michael is coming. So make sure the VIP thing, everything, we have security. It has to be tight, And it's like, whatever, Michael's not coming. I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. And they were not believing me. I swear to God, they were not believing me. We finished the dessert. I told Michael, I was like, let me go first, just join me over there. Because my friends, they were not believing me. I arrived to the club. I'm like, yo, guys, Michael is coming. Make sure the security is like... Man, when Michael arrived, my friends, they were all dying. They're like, man, Michael Jordan is here. It was so funny.
Oh man, I know they
Then
talk
Mike
about that
come in
all the
and sit
time.
down like he normal, like he don't think the whole club but ain't about to come over there and just stare at him.
That's what I love about him, though. You know, you just want to do stuff like normal people. It's normal.
Yeah. You stopped playing soccer. How was the transition? Like, where did you start? Like, what organization or league that you started in to start playing? Because have you ever picked up a ball or played with a ball before then?
Yeah. Because my dad was a basketball player. So at 3 years old, that's the first time that I had a basketball, and I will dribble, I will shoot, I will imitate my dad and do the warm-ups, do everything he was doing. So I technically I played basketball since I'm 3 years old. You know, it's just that when a team and a structure, I started with soccer.
Organized,
And then I switched to basketball when I was 9. And so I started in Normandy. It's a region, it's like 2 hours from Paris. That's why I started basketball. And then at 14 years old, I got selected to go to INSEP. INSEP is where all the best players in France, we go to that team and we play in 3rd division. So we play against grown-ass people. We're playing against adults, you know. And so it's all the best players. So that's why I met Ronnie Turiaf and Boris Diaw. You know, we all played together in the 3rd division. So that's why I played very early professionally, like 14 to 17. I played 3 years in that division. And then at 17, I signed to PSG, Paris, played over there 2 years. And then I got drafted by the Spurs at 19.
At what point does that, like between that 14 and 17, does it start looking like, hey, I might have a chance to do this, or these type of clubs are trying to might come and get you? At what point does that click in for you?
It's a great question, because when I was 9, it was a dream. And it was a dream, and I will tell people my dream, and they will make fun of me. And that's what I tell all the kids at my academy. I always tell them, dream big. And if you say your dream to somebody and he's not laughing at you, you don't dream big enough. And so I was telling my dream, they were laughing at me. I would say, I'm going to become the first French guy to go to the NBA. I'll be the first European point guard to make it in NBA. People will laugh at me. But at 14, when I met Michael, that was a starting point. And then when I got selected to go to INSEP, and I was one of the best players of my generation in France, then it became a goal. It was no more a dream then. Then it became a goal to make it to the NBA.
I remember I played on the USA team my senior year of high school. I remember playing against the select team, which was y'all. I didn't know who you was until after the game, because you was killing. But they was talking about the big Nigerian guy. I can't remember his name.
Oyedeji, something like that. What was his name? I know exactly who you're talking about.
He was the center strong.
The center,
he looked like a grown man. Like he didn't look like he was out there for they was really talking about him. So he was the one we was watching out for. But then as we played the game, which was a close game too, it was a very close game.
We lost by 2.
Ever since then, I knew who you was and kind of followed you around and followed with us. Tell us about being selected to that team and coming over and playing in the U.S. and after that.
That was my first time playing in the U.S. And it's funny that you talk about that game, because that was the first time that Sam Presti and R.C. Buford saw me play. And after that game, they followed me my second year in Paris, and then I got drafted by the Spurs. So obviously that was a huge game for me, because that was my first time playing in the U.S., first time that I can see my talent against U.S. talent, you know, the best players in the world, you know. And so when I played so good against, it was Chris Duhon, it was Omar Cook,
Zach Randolph, all those was on that team.
Was the players. And so I did so well that I was like, man, maybe I have a chance, you know, to go to the NBA, you know, if I can play good against the best talent in the US. And so it gave me the confidence, you know, going into my second year in Paris, that then I start killing, and I was like, I have a chance to go to the NBA.
How did everybody else respond? Like, you know, like, cause you like you say, you a point guard coming from France, and they all laughing at you. Like when you went over and then you played extremely well in this game against the top American competition, is creme de la creme, that's about to go to college and then go to the NBA and all of that. How was the buzz around you coming back after that?
So when I came back, then people start taking me seriously. They were like, okay, maybe he has a chance, because, you know, my first year in Paris, I was not playing. You know, I was a backup. I played like 5 minutes, 4 minutes a game. Like I didn't play at all. And so that game gave the confidence to Paris to let go the veteran point guard, because I'm sure they wanted to save money too, but it gave them confidence to say, okay, Tony, you're going to be the starter next year. And so that game really opened everything for me, because that's when all the scouts saw me play and the Spurs, and then they gave me the confidence, and they gave the confidence to my team to put me in a starting position. And so that year, then I exploded,
Is it true you almost made a decision to go the college route?
Yes, it's very true.
What was the colleges that was?
It was between UCLA and Georgia Tech. So at the time, UCLA was Steve Lavin, and he was going very hard at me. He was really recruiting me. And Georgia Tech was nice too, because they had a tradition, with point
guard
guards.
tradition. Yeah,
exactly. So I liked Georgia Tech too, and it came to the last moment. I was like, I decided to stay in France, but I was very close to sign to college. The only reason then I stayed because they took an American coach who was well known, in Europe, and he was good as developing talent, to go to the NBA. And so he gave me a chance. He told me you'll be a starter. I think at 18 years old, it's good that you play against adults. It will get you ready faster, for the NBA.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, I decided to stay and stay in Paris.
And we could have saw TP in a Bruins or a Georgia Tech jersey. That would have been crazy.
Yeah, because Baron, it was Baron Davis, just left, and they had Earl Watson, so it was like it was very close.
So tell us you deciding to go pro, because you could have stayed another year in Paris if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, if I wanted to, of course.
Tell us the decision to make you decide to I'm gonna put my name in the draft and go pro, and the process of you going pro.
So that's a great question, D-Mouse, because it was a long talk with my dad, and I really trusted my dad on that one because he was a basketball player. And his whole process thinking, it was like, if you go to the draft now, you're not going to be drafted high, but you're going to go to a good team.
Yeah.
And as a point guard, it was no European point guard at the time. And so my dad was like, if you're going to become the first European point guard to make it in the NBA, let's try to go to a good team.
Yeah.
And so I could have stayed longer in Paris, and play another year, and maybe I would have been top 15, top 10. But at the time, my dad really convinced me, I have to give him credit, to say, put your name now. Yes, you're 19, but if you go to the end of the first round, you're going to end up with a good team. It'll be better for your game. That's what my dad told me.
Smart for him to have that foresight. Real talk. All of us at that age, all we concentrating on is high. We want to go as high as we can. We want to go high as we can, be a top pick, be a lottery pick.
To be honest with you, Q, I wanted to do the same thing. I was like, I want to be top 10. I want to be in the lottery. Like, I was saying the same thing, Q. And my dad was like, no. He was like, you going this year to the draft. And I really trusted him.
That's dope. Shout out Pops on that one. Shout out OG. You know what I'm saying?
So where were you at during the draft?
So during the draft, I was in New York. New York.
Okay.
And I went to the draft with my dad and with my agent. And it's funny because my draft was crazy, D-Miles. I did all the workouts. I did
how
15
many? That's
teams,
what I was
D-Miles. 15,
how many?
Because at the time, it was no respect, for European teams, European players, for European players. Yeah. So I did 15 workouts, and I did the Spurs twice and the Boston Celtics twice. So it's technically 17.
Yeah.
So the Spurs, when I did my second workout, they were like, Pop told me, like, man, you're going to be top 15. There's no way we're going to get you. You're going to be top 15. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to trade up because we want you. And I was like, okay. In my mind, I thought I was going to go to Boston because the day before the draft, Boston asked for a second workout with me. And I did great.
Boston is notorious for that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Why they do that?
I did 2 workouts. And so then they had 3 first-round picks in my draft. They had 10, 11, and 21. And they needed a point guard. So I was like, okay, worst-case scenario, I'll go 21. That's what I was telling myself.
Right.
So the draft goes, Spurs trying to trade up. They can't. Everybody says no to their proposition because they're already a good team and they don't really have much, to trade back. And then Boston, they go with Kedrick Brown at 10.
Yeah.
And they go with Joe Johnson at 11. So obviously Joe Johnson, no-brainer. And so then at 19, Chrissy, who works for the NBA, as we all know, Chrissy comes all the way to where I was with my dad, and she gives me a cap of the Celtics. She's like, okay, is you going to come up next? It's coming.
Christian.
And so for like, Christian, yeah. So for like, I don't know, for like, like 2 minutes, I thought I was going to go to Boston. I had the cap and everything.
That's crazy.
And so what happened, what I learned after is the head coach and the GM, so Jim O'Brien at the time and Chris Wallace was the GM at the time, they wanted me, but Auerbach was like, no, I want Joe Forte from North Carolina, you know? And I think it's because European, we had no respect, you know? So it was like, nah, I don't want this. But the coach and the GM wanted me. That's crazy. Yeah. But he overall took Joe Forte.
That man had the Celtics.
Spurs are starting to go crazy, you know, because like, man, a player that we're ready to draft 14, 15 and trade some stuff, I dropped all the way to 28. I had to give the cap back to Chrissy because they changed their mind. They give the cap back. And then 28, they say, okay, you have to come. They're going to take you. And I was joking. I was like, are we sure now? Because I didn't know.
I want to get my hopes up.
was like, don't worry. Coach Pop's not going to change his mind. You can come down. And then I came all the way down and got drafted by the Spurs.
So you got to shake Stern hand then.
Yes, I did. Yep.
Yeah, that's dope.
I was there.
Like, what was that feeling like? Because I know, like you say, you've been watching for so long. Like, we all watch the draft, and that's our moment. That's our like one shining moment. Just you want to get up there, get the cap on, and shake David Stern hand. That's like a symbolic moment. How was that for you when you finally got to do that?
It was an amazing feeling. I felt like I made my dream, you know, and I was so happy. And I don't know, it's hard to put words into it. You know, I was walking up and I was so proud because, you know, when I did my second workout with the Spurs, so that was 5 days before the draft, I was driving around San Antonio. I remember calling my dad and say, man, I love it here. You might be right. Maybe the Spurs will draft me because Coach Pop said they're going to try to trade to get me. So that's the team you were talking about. I'm going to play for a good team. Exactly. Yeah. And I told my dad that 5 days before I got drafted. I said, I have a feeling maybe I'm going to go with San Antonio. And I was like, okay, maybe Boston's going to take me, but I have a feeling it's going to happen in San Antonio. And so when I got up, I felt like it was meant to be, like it was destiny, you know, that I got drafted by the Spurs. Because I loved the city and everything was great, and I was going to a good team.
So when you get there, what was your first reaction to Tim Duncan?
First of all, before I talk about Timmy, you know, I get drafted, I shake David's hand, then I go in the back, you know, I talk to Coach Pop, and I was like, Pop, I'm going to show everybody, all those teams, they made a mistake to draft me at the end of the first round. I was crazy at 19 telling that Pop. I'm sure he was thinking, yeah, let's see if you make veteran camp first, you know? But the first time I saw Timmy, I was like, man, I was kind of impressed, obviously. You know, I knew he was a superstar, multiple All-Star, MVP of the All-Star game. Like, I knew he was the franchise, basically. Yeah. And so I knew that I had to earn his respect. If I want to have a chance to be the point guard of that team, I have to earn Timmy's respect. And he made it tough on me. Like the whole first year, people think I joke when I say that, but it's true. You know, he didn't talk to me the whole first year. I don't think he believed that a little Frenchie can be his point guard for the next 10 years, you know? Yeah. And it's not until I played great against GP in the playoffs that he finally talked to me, because he was like, man, if he can play good against Gary Payton, I think we have something. But Timmy was very tough his first year, but I didn't back down. You know, mentally I was ready. My dad did a great job to prepare me, and I was ready for my rookie season. And my first year with the Spurs, Timmy won MVP of the NBA.
How was that for you to see that up close and personal? Because it's like, that's not something that you get every day when you come in as a rookie. Your teammate is the MVP. You playing in the playoffs, going deep. Like, how was that? And then you was a young guy. You was 19, 20. You weren't like an older rookie coming in and nothing like that. You were young. So how was that for you to deal with?
So I was 19. first European point guard, so I had a lot of different pressure, and I wanted to show Americans that French guys can play. And the first practice, Kevin Willis, I went to the basket, and Kevin Willis basically body slammed me, straight to the ground,
Got them warms, man.
And I got up, and I went straight at him, and pushed him, just to show that I'm going to go in the paint every single time. Doesn't matter what you're going to do. That was my game. I played against you guys. I was super aggressive. I was relentless. I will go to the basket. I will go to the basket. And I remember, I thought Pop was going to, basically kick me out of practice, and he came to me and he was like, I love that. That I pushed Kevin and everything, because he knew that I was not going to back down. And so after 5 games, we were in the plane. We were coming back from Portland, and Pop called me back in the plane, and he was like, tomorrow you're starting. I'm like, what? He's like, you starting after 5 games, huh? He's like, you starting. And my first reaction was like, what Timmy say? Because I was still scared.
What does Timmy think?
Exactly. That was my first answer. And Pop said, Timmy will be all right. I was like, okay. And my first game I started, it was against Orlando, against Grant Hill and T-Mac. I played well. My second game starting in Charlotte, I had 25 points against Baron Davis, and then I was ready. Then the rest was history. But it was not easy. Your rookie season, you have a lot of up and downs. You're going to hit the rookie rod, and Pop was really, really tough on me. Sometimes I came back home, I had tears in my eyes. I didn't know if I was going to make it. But the next day, I always came back, and I was like, no, I'm just going to make it happen,
Speaking on that right there, how was that to have, vets like Tim Duncan, Steve Smith, David Robinson, for you say you a 19-year-old, you navigating this, it's a long season, y'all playing for something that means something. How much did it help having those type of veterans on, even though they was hard on you, but they could give you some knowledge when you kind of needed it too?
Now, it's a great question, because I was 19 and I was the only young guy,
right?
Because everybody was vets, like you said. But David Robinson was super nice to me, very, very helpful. Bruce Bowen definitely helped me my rookie year. Terry Porter as a point guard, showed me how to, navigate between all those stars that we had in the team. Steve Kerr was very nice to me too, took care of me. Malik Rose, all of
that's
them,
my dog there, Malik.
all of them. They took me under their wing, because I think they saw that I was willing to learn, and I was very humble, and I was ready to do anything, to make it in that team. And especially Pop putting me in the starting 5 after 5 games, give me credit, right away. But then I had to earn the respect of everybody.
Tell me about this run your second year, your playoff run. You play GP, you play Marbury, you play Jason Kidd. Your matchup was the matchup every series for y'all to
basically
go to.
Every series in the newspaper, they were saying they're not going to win the point guard matchup.
This is the mismatch right here.
Exactly, that was the mismatch. In every series, I had to show them.
You got busy that playoffs. But just tell us about just that playoff run, and, you coming into these series and you seeing who you got to match up with, and these are all those star players of the other team, How was that run, that playoff run for you?
It was an unbelievable run, and I feel very blessed and grateful, that in my second year, you going through a playoff run like this is just unbelievable. Because my rookie year, we lost against the Lakers. So Kobe and Shaq won their three-peat. And so the whole focus, when I got drafted by the Spurs, all the questions they asked me before the draft is, how can we beat the Lakers? How you can help us beat the Lakers? How you can do this and that? So my whole focus is we have to beat the Lakers. And so we lose against them. I had a good series my rookie year against them, but we lost. And so coming into my second year, I was very focused on, okay, how can we beat the Lakers? And it was one of the best feeling ever when we beat them in LA, game 6. I remember Timmy having 38, and I think I had 30. And just to have a great game in the closeout game against one of the best team ever, with Shaq and Kobe doing the three-peat, it just gave us a lot of confidence, to finish the job, And so in the conference finals, we played the Mavericks, had a great series. That's the famous Game 6 when Steve Kerr hit the 4 threes, and we beat them. And then New Jersey, it was my first time, playing at that level, NBA Finals. You're playing against the best point guard of the league at that time, Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
And I played pretty well against him for first final. And to be able to win a championship at 21 years old is very rare. Only me and Kobe. We have all those records. Under 22 years old. Playoff runs, playoff wins, all that kind of stuff. It's nice company, obviously.
It was a big man game back in the day, and mostly the big men be the guys who lead the points in the paint. But your name used to always be on top of the list in points in the paint. And, their defense for you is to try to hit you for coming in the paint. How was it for you to be relentless and keep on attacking the paint, even though you have Shaq and Mutombo and all these big guys that's trying to really lay wood on you coming in that paint like that to kind of discourage you?
No, but I was fearless, D-Miles. I was just fearless. I just loved penetrating. And when I first arrived in the league, that was my main weapon, to be fast and to create stuff for my teammates, for Timmy or Favo. Or on the outside, I always had great shooters. In 03, we had Steven Jackson. Loved playing with Steven Jackson. Manu. Steve Smith, Steve Kerr. We just had great shooters. So the way it was built is me penetrating and being aggressive. And I just love challenging bigs. It was just my thing. I just love doing that.
And the cold thing, he played all 82 though. He played all 82 games. He ain't missed a game doing that.
Yeah. No, it's funny because when you see my body, you think it's like very thin. But I always remember like the big guys. Every time I will go inside and hit them, they're like, "Man, you're pretty strong with that little body." It's just the way I was built, a little bit like you, D-Miles. You thin, but you like strong.
Yeah, tell Q that because I be trying to tell Q. I'm trying to tell him.
But for me, with that force and coming with that speed, I always felt like really strong when I went inside. And I proved it, with my longevity, because I played a long career in the NBA. I didn't miss a lot of games, always there for the big playoff runs, So, no, I always took care of my body and I always had that mentality.
Let me ask you this, though. Like, after winning that first title, right, we all know, like, the first thing you want to do is go back to the hood, right? So how was it for you to go back to France? All of everything they were saying, and now like you coming back, I'm like, now I'm really that dude. I got a title. I'm the one
who's laughing now. I'm the one who's laughing
now. I'm that dude. I got Larry with me. What you talking about?
No, that feeling was nice, and especially with Nike. Nike at the time, before my second year, I signed a huge contract, with Nike, and so they organized a huge basketball camp. In La Défense, it's a famous spot in France. They put it the basketball court and everything. They brought NBA players. I remember at the time, like Coutinho Mobley came, Malik Rose. It was a huge basketball camp, and it was nice to share that with all of my people in France to bring a championship. First time they see the trophy. First time a French guy winning an NBA title. It was just an amazing feeling, and it was nice to share that with everybody.
Would you say at that point right there, that was kind of like the kickoff, like obviously when you got drafted, but like that kind of solidified like the Spurs gonna be France team kind of a little bit?
Oh no, for sure. Well, when we won the title, that's when I really realized I'm like, okay, we won the title. But I was hungry. I was like, okay, we won a title, but I want to win more. I want to try to be all-star. Before, my dream was like, I want to be in the NBA. And if I can be a good backup, that's good. That was my thing, I never thought I'd be in a position where you can win a championship. And so after winning the championship, then my next thing was like, okay, I need to improve my shot. I finished, I was finishing reading an article. It was Tiger Woods, who just won the Tiger Slam, so he won, the Tiger Slam, the 3 in 2000 and the 1 in 2001. So he won the Tiger Slam, and he was like, I'm going to change my swing to try to be even more better. And I was like, how can you be better? You just won all 4 majors. I was like, I thought that was crazy, but I was reading the article and I was like, man, if Tiger Woods can do this, then I can try to change, my shot to be more consistent. Because then I was like, once I won a championship, I wanted to be more consistent. I wanted to be an all-star. I really wanted to be that guy next to Timmy,
Yeah.
Is it true that Kobe learned French to talk shit to you?
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. Me and Kobe, we were good friends, and and every time he'll come with different words and try to talk trash to me, and every time I was like, how can you find that time to learn all of this? I was like,
just to come mess with you.
Yeah, exactly. Because they always start with Derek Fisher, in the first half, but then second half they always put Kobe on me, and so that's why Kobe always took the challenge, and it was funny, Kobe was always ready. Always.
Your signature shot is the floater.
Yes.
You done floated from the free throw line,
Yep.
almost 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? When did that come like your ultimate go-to? Like this was like, I can do that because everybody can't float the ball like that. You got to have touch.
Yeah, especially me, I do it with 2 feet. Yeah, I do it off 2 feet.
Yeah, exactly. So.
You need to have a good touch. You need to have a good touch. You need to have a good control of your body and speed and when to do it, because it's all about timing and rhythm, the way you're going to do it, the teardrop. People think, when you see it, it's easy. But when you do it a game at full speed and do it at the right moment, like that, the bigs, they off rhythm, to try to block your shot. And I always had a good feel for that between the teardrop or layups off my wrong leg, to try to get it before the bigs can block it. I always had a good feel for that since I was a kid because I was not very tall. I was very skinny and very small. It took me a while, to grow. And so to score the basketball was the only way. It was to shoot teardrops, So I've been doing this since I'm a little kid.
Yeah,
and so when I first arrived in the NBA, that was a great first weapon for me to be able to score and be aggressive and put pressure on the defense, to be on the paint and either a pass or either a shoot. To try to find that happy middle, between scoring and passing. And teardrop, it was always my thing. And I remember when I arrived in San Antonio, they had the Iceman, with the finger roll. But I said, I'm going to do the teardrop off 2 legs. That'll be my shot. Everybody will know me for that shot.
Definitely is. Tell us how easy it was to beat Q and that Phoenix Suns team in the playoffs.
That's really how you going to ask that question, my G? Like, that's really what that's what we going. Go ahead. So I'm gonna let you do.
Man, okay. Phoenix Suns is they're the pioneers of how the NBA is played now. Because now it's Phoenix but 2.0 now.
It definitely is, man. Them guys did their thing.
Phoenix, man, they were tough, man. D-Miles, they were really tough, and they were a very good team. And we always knew that, man, if we want to win a championship, it's going to go through Phoenix, And it's funny because in the playoffs, how the style changed. In the playoffs, it goes more half court and all that kind of stuff. And Phoenix tried to impose their will against us, and we'll try to impose our will, and our style of play. But I remember just great series. 2005 was crazy. 2007 was crazy with Robert Horry hitting Steve Nash and all that kind of stuff. All the series against Phoenix, they were always always amazing plays. It was the highest level, and in Phoenix, you have to give them a lot of credit. They were very close to win a championship. That's why I can't even talk trash to Q, because winning a championship is a fine line between winning and losing. And I've been on the other end a lot, but it could have been Phoenix. That's how close it is.
It definitely would have been Phoenix
to win a championship and not winning a championship. So that's why when you win, you really have to enjoy it, because it's hard.
I'm gonna tell you what the difference was, and it haunts. I think it haunts all of us to this day. And you can remember y'all game plan. They'll say, okay, Steve and Amari, y'all the only two to get to play basketball.
Exactly.
And they said that because of this, Black. They said that because of this, because they knew, Pop them knew that we were not gonna pivot and do nothing different. We was gonna do this to the death. Cause they put, I can't remember whether it was TP on me or TP on Joe, and then Manu on the other one. That's a post-up game for either of us all day, and we did not do it one time. We stood in the corner, and they stood in here and man guarded us face to face, and we just stood here like that. I was so mad, bro. I was so mad. Like neither one, and you like back then nobody even knew, but like Joe, obviously they saw what he was able to do, and he's 6'8". He was able to do that right then. He could have posted anybody up on that team. Not one time. We kept doing it. And like it was games like Stat go crazy, get 40. Steve was getting 30, but like that wasn't our team. And they knew that. They were like, we could deal with them two going crazy, but if we let them get crazy and then they start hitting the threes, that's when all chaos break out. And Pop came in with that game plan. We ain't pivot. Well, no, we could do. Then
Man, that was our strategy, Q. You're so right. And it drove Timmy crazy, like we always
laugh. Tim was getting scored on. Amari was getting 40, 45.
And then us, we will not help. No help.
No help. Don't move. I'm talking about, look, D-Miles, don't move.
That's the game plan. No help. We're not helping. Not helping. And it's funny because it will wear down, on Steve and Amari. And then in the fourth quarter, they get a little bit tired. And that's when we made, the 2-3 stops that we needed. Because we never blown you out. It was always very close game all the time. But we always knew that at some point, it's going to break, and we're going to take advantage,
And it happened because we, you know how it is. You just standing there getting face guarded. I'm frustrated. Joe frustrated. Everybody just standing here watching. And I'm talking about like he say no help. We in corners, bro. They face guarding us. Meanwhile, pick and roll going on in the middle of the lane. They don't care what's happening, but that's how everything always shake loose for us. That pick and roll coming, everybody reacted. Then it's boom, 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 3. Tony like this, like Ginobili on the other side like this, just in our face. They just standing there. I was like, bro.
You won your second ring, but the next year, your peers vote you to be an all-star. How was that? How was that feeling to be an all-star and to be like 9th in MVP voting that year? And when you start getting your peers to really start appreciating you individually instead of all just the team work.
But that's the best feeling. And I think every NBA player, we have the same feeling. The most respect is to get it from your peers. When your peers vote for you, for me, that's the best feeling. My teammates or the people that I'm playing against, that's the best. That's the best feeling ever to me. And I think it's the same feeling for a lot of players. 2005, I win my second ring. And that's when I made, that summer, decided to work with a shooting coach. His name was Chip England.
Chip. That's Chip, we worked with him coming out in the draft. That's our guy, Chip.
I know.
Be a machine.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's when I started working with Chip, and that's how I got better then with my mid-range and improved my three-point shot. And that's when I made my first All-Star team in 2006. And so Chip was very, very helpful. He's the best, I'm
about to say that's the standard now. Chip England, the gold standard when it comes to being a shooting coach.
Exactly, he's the gold standard.
G. Hill, Battier, Kawhi.
Exactly. No. Chip is the best, and so for me, that's the best feeling, D-Mouse, is to have the respect of your peers.
Hey, this is what I want to ask you. You selfless, and you don't like to take all the credit, but how did it feel to get that MVP of the finals, though? Like, that's a different swag than just winning it. You coming back with an extra little trophy. Like, how did that feel for you personally? The little kid in you that was like, I want to be this, and I want to be the best friends, this and that. Like, what did that do for that little kid inside of you?
I want to give credit to Timmy. That's what I was talking about early on, how unselfish he was. Because Timmy can score 30 anytime he wants. And the matchup in that series, I had Boobie Gibson on me and Larry Hughes. And so basically, it was a good matchup for me. And Timmy was like, let's go with Tony. And man, I was aggressive the whole series, shot the ball very well. And it's an unbelievable feeling, because I won 2 championships already. So now I'm winning a third one with becoming the first European to be MVP of the finals.
Yeah.
That was pretty special, Q. I'm not gonna lie. That was very, very special to me. That was pretty cool.
Why do you think that y'all couldn't back-to-back? Why you think
Still
that y'all
haunts me
could
today.
win? Then
Still haunts me. It's crazy. So I'll go year by year. So 2003, we win, and then 04, Derek Fisher shot.
Yeah.
Crazy shot. Point 4. They changed the rule.
I was about to say, change the rule.
Remember?
Like that.
Change the rule.
Can't catch and shoot.
They changed the rule. Not possible. And the referee was like, it's good. I'm like, what? That game was so crazy, game, because Timmy made a hell of a shot on Shaq,
like
on and down and everything. So we were like, we thought we won, you know? And then point 4, referee didn't click on time, you know, and they count the shot. I was like, that was crazy. But okay, that was the Derek Fisher shot. Then we win in 05, 06, man, like Manu, my favorite teammate ever, love Manu to death, you know. But why did you foul?
Right.
We were up 3, you know, up 3 in game 7. And I don't want to say too much on that, you know, anybody can make mistakes. I made a ton of mistakes, you know. But we were up 3. Dirk goes to the basket and Manu fouled him and he makes the free throw. We lose in overtime and we lose against Dallas game 7 at home. That hurt in 06.
Yeah.
And then 08, we beat New Orleans in 7. That was a tough series. CP was on fire that year. And they had a great team in New Orleans. And I don't know, I felt like against the Lakers, Kobe, I guess it was just his year, you know, like he was MVP and man, he had a hell of a series against us in 08 and it just didn't happen. So it's hard because you're like, man, why we didn't back-to-back, you know? And then we don't go back to the finals for a while.
Yeah.
You know, like 2011, we have the best record in the league. We lose in the first round against Memphis. Yeah. And then 2012, that year was crazy. 2012, we win our last 11 games of the season. Got the best record.
Yeah.
We sweep in the first round. We sweep the Clippers, CP and the Clippers. We swept them in the semis. We up 2-0 against OKC. So we won 21 games in a row. So we're on fire, 21 games in a row. And then we lost 4 in a row. It's crazy. Sometimes basketball, it's hard to understand sometimes. And we lost both games in OKC. You're like, okay, game 5, man, James Harden had a hell of a shot to win the game in game 5, step back. And then we lose game 6. And then the season is over after winning 21 games in a row. You're like, man, we didn't make the finals. And then 2013, you know what happened? You know, we up 3-2. And we up 5 with 28 seconds, and that's the famous Ray Allen shot.
Tell me this, like from your, I ask everybody that was in this game this question, like, that emotional pendulum to like, you know, y'all up. You see the people putting the rope around, they about to get all of this is about to happen.
Q, let me bring it back even a little bit.
Yeah, like, do that.
It's a tie game. I hit the step back on LeBron, okay? Step back 3, go up 3.
Jubilation.
Okay? And LeBron makes a play. I stole the ball, went all the way to the basket. We up 5 with 28 seconds. In my head, I promise Q, I'm like, man, we're going to win the championship. Like, I'm like, I step back 3. I don't hit a lot of step back 3, Q. So I was like, man, step back 3, swish. I was like, whoop. Then steal, then score. I was like, man, we up 5. I'm like, we good, you know?
Yeah.
28 seconds. I remember Pop was talking, and I can see my family coming down. They're putting the ropes and everything. I see the trophy. Man. They're preparing everything, you know? It was crazy. You know? And then, man, we went 1 for 2 on the free throw, Manu. Yep. Then 1 for 2 free throw, Kawhi. So we up 3. LeBron missed. And, man, we didn't get the rebound. Oh, and then Ray hits that shot. It was crazy. That shot is amazing. Like, going back.
It was crazy for a shoot. And the fact that he's a real jump shoot, like, people don't understand. Like, he's a real use my legs. So that's like, and like he described it to us. He said the only way I was able to do that is because I've done it a million times working out. Because the way, we all know as hoopers, and if you're not ready to get your feet set, no way. He did everything perfect as it could be. Boom, 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 bam, and then even did his little signature, little finger point. I say, God damn. I say, that's a bad boy right there.
That shot was amazing. I was right there because it was on me. You know, I was right there on him. You know, it's the best I could do because I didn't want to foul him. You know, and it was that shot was amazing. And then we lose in overtime, and then we lose Game 7, and that was maybe our best shot to do back to back. You know, because then 2014 we smacked them in 2014. You know, it's not even close. You know, we won 4-1. We played the beautiful game, like they say. You know, like the passing game. We played unbelievable in the finals in 2014. And when I look back, I'm like, maybe that one was the best chance, you know, to do back to back. But then 2006, man, we had the best record in the league. I think we won 64 games in 2006.
That was crazy,
man. I wish we played Miami in the finals. That would have been a hell of a final against Shaq and D Wade, you know. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, you know, you got 4 championships. It's a lot of championships already, you know. But I wish we did a back-to-back, but it didn't happen.
The focus that year after y'all lost, the way y'all lost to Miami that first time, how was the focus like the next year to get all the way back to the finals to win?
So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. Like 2013, we lose in the finals, okay? 2 weeks after, my national team coach calls me, say, Tony, you're going to play with the national team. And I was like, no, I'm tired. Like, we just lost in the finals, you know. And I'm still trying to chase D-Miles Q, the first gold medal in the history of French basketball.
Right,
okay?
Right.
I've been playing with the national team since 2000. It's been 13 years. Never won a gold medal. 48 hours after, I changed my mind and I said, Coach, I'm coming. Even if some of the guys are not coming, you know, because a lot of good players, it was like, hey, I'm taking my summer off. I was like, man, it's not our best team, you know, but I'm coming. First game of the European Championship, we played Germany. We lose by 30. In my head, I'm like, man, I knew I had to go to the Maldives and go to vacation. Why I came to the national team? In front of them, I'm like, come on, guys, just the first game, you know, it's all right, man. I was like, man, it's going to be a long European Championship. Lost by 30, first game, I was like, it's going to be a long European Championship. We go into quarterfinals, barely qualify. We play Slovenia in Slovenia against Dragic. And we beat them in front of 25,000 people. It was a crazy game. Beat them. Then semifinals, we play Spain. That was the team that beat us the last couple of years. Beat them in overtime. And then we play in the final Lithuania, and we finally get the first gold medal of the European Championship for French history. So that was amazing because I was chasing that for 13 years. My NBA career, I won my second year. I was kind of like, you know, exactly. National team, man, I went every summer to the national team Q to carry, you know, my country, to bring it there and try to be a pioneers for the next generation. And we'll talk about that later, you know. Yeah. But I was like trying to chase for that gold medal. So when I finally got the gold medal, I arrived at training camp. I was so happy, Q D-Miles. I showed my gold medal, Pop. He didn't care about my gold medal. He was like, come on, man. But me, I was happy. I got the gold medal. Man, first film session, first practice, first film session. He showed us the last 3 minutes of game 6, last 3 minutes of game 7. I was like, man, I didn't want to watch this.
Right, killed your whole mood. You came here feeling good. You didn't kill that.
And we were right back at it, man. Right back at it.
He set the tone in training camp.
That focus that we had in 2014 was amazing. Like, and it's crazy because we've been winning 50-plus games for like 13, 14 years in a row. Went to 4 conference finals, 4 NBA finals, all that kind of stuff. 2014, we were like focused, like everybody. Like I never had a year that we were that focused because I think everybody understood it might be our last chance to win a championship, you know? I was 32, Manu was 37, Timmy was 38, you know? Kawhi was coming, but not quite, you know, he was not quite the Kawhi we know now, you know? Yeah. So that year, we were super focused. And when we beat OKC in the conference finals, I don't know if you remember, in an interview, Timmy said, and Timmy never talks like that, never really talks trash, you know. He was like, "Oh, we're gonna do it this year." He was like, "We're gonna do it this year." On the interview, I was like, "Man, okay, TD."
Right.
And so we arrived against Miami. We were ready to go. You know, that series, like we dominated that series. Like we were plus 20 every game. It was a blowout. Like the first 2 games was 1-1, and then the last 3 games we were up 20 every game.
How impressive was it for you, like as a guy, like you say, you've been playing a long time at this point. You've been in a lot of finals. You've been in a lot of big games. How impressive was it for you to watch Kawhi's growth and how he like stepped to the forefront during that series and how he not only just, you know, played for y'all offensively, but he had the task of guarding LeBron and he did, you know, one of the best jobs on him during that series.
Mm-hmm. So that year, I was the only All-Star of the team that year. I made the All-Star team, but you can see that Kawhi was coming up, you know, that year. Kawhi was really coming into his own. And I saw it, you know, with myself, with Manu, the improvement that we had, you know, being under Coach Pop and the great job that the coaching staff is doing and the way Chip improved my shot. I figured like if he can do the same thing with Kawhi, it can be scary. And then in 2014, it was how you say that in English, you know, his coming out party, you know. It's like the way he played defense on Kawhi was amazing. I don't think you can do better than that. And offensively, you know, he was just getting into his own, you know, like where to operate, where he can score, you know, and playing off me and Manu and off Timmy. And he had a hell of a series against Miami.
Could you have ever imagined that you, Manu, and Timmy would become, you know, the winningest trio in playoff history? Like you was, like you say, Timmy didn't speak to you, he ain't mess with you. Then you fast forward, y'all 3 tied a record for the winningest and then go on to break the record. Like, how did that feel to accomplish that?
It's crazy, Q, because if you think about it, like a little Frenchie and a guy from the islands who was supposed to swim, and the other one from Argentina, like to have that chemistry to play together and to be that good for so long, you know, the longevity, you know, to be the winningest trio in the NBA. You can never, like nobody can like, I don't think in the Spurs nobody can know like something like that, you know. That's why the draft is not a perfect science, you know, like nobody can know that I'll be 28th pick and I'm going to do that career, or Manu is 57, you know.
Right.
He was playing in Italy in 2nd division, 57, and he's going to become a Hall of Famer. So it's crazy the way that happened. But at the end of the day, like myself, Timmy, Manu, we always told each other we want to do what's good for the team and try to win championship and try to build, you know, a dynasty. And we never let our ego be in front of what's important for the team. And it started with Timmy. Timmy is the most unselfish superstar that I ever known, you know, like the way Timmy played and the way that Timmy gave room for me to become an all-star, or same for Manu. Timmy was unbelievable. And we never had arguments, like nothing. Like it's crazy to get along for that many years. It was just a blessing for me as a point guard to have 2 teammates like this. It was unbelievable.
This is what I wanted to ask you though. Like, I used to have to guard the motherfucker and I hated it. Tell me this about when you first met Manu. Did you know how good he was? Had you seen him before? Did you know, like, had seen him play? Like, talk about how dope of a player and how special of a teammate Manu was, because I feel like y'all whole stretch, he was one of y'all biggest X factors, and he was like kind of like the, you know, the unsung guy that coming off the bench, 6 man and this and that. Just talk about how special he was.
Manu is the most unique player I ever played with. He was just that good, you know, and he will always make timely plays. He had a knack, you know, to make big shots, you know, at the right moment and make big plays like offensive rebound or take a charge or all that kind of stuff. Manu was just gifted with that. He just had a high IQ, and his basketball knowledge was unbelievable. And when he first arrived in the NBA, I knew he was that good because Manu arrived, he was 25 when he arrived in the NBA. Yeah. So I saw him play in Italy and playing so well in the EuroLeague. So when he came to the Spurs, I knew exactly what we were getting. And so that's why we made the jump right away. You know, 2003, that was Manu's rookie year, and we win the championship. And so, you know, the Nike Hoop Summit, that was the only game where scouts can see us play. You know, now they send scouts everywhere now. You know, everywhere you have NBA scouts, NBA GMs, you know, they travel everywhere. But back then, the Hoop Summit, you know, Dirk and mine was the first ones, you know, where I think scouts saw European players that can play in the NBA. And then after that, you know, everybody came. Yeah, exploded. Yeah.
Tell us your thoughts of when Manu knocked the bat out the air. And then the mascot came.
I don't know what he was doing. I'm like, why in the hell are you going to touch that bat? Because, you know, after that, he regretted it because he had to do 1,000 tests for like 3 weeks. Like, it was crazy. And Manu, I remember he was saying, like, I will never do it again. Like, it was crazy afterward. But Manu will always do, like, crazy stuff like this, you know? Like, he's funny.
Let me ask you this. You know, man, you be hearing a lot of commentators, a lot of people, they always mention all of these teams and their championship runs or they win a championship, but they always seem to not appreciate the Spurs how they should be appreciated. Do you feel like y'all supposed to be appreciated a little bit more or what y'all accomplished over them years?
To be honest with you, Dimas, I don't really care about that, you know, because I lived it and I have the rings and we all first ballot Hall of Famers. So it's hard for me to say they don't appreciate us. You know what I mean? Like Manu is a first ballot, Timmy too, Pop, me. Yeah. So that's the ultimate respect. Like all four of us, we first ballot Hall of Famers. So sometimes, they're going to talk about the Bulls and they're going to talk about, you know, Golden State and the Lakers in Boston. But I really feel like our teams, they're up there in that conversation with all of those teams. That's for sure. That's how I feel. But then if they're not going to talk about it, it's okay because at the end of the day, numbers don't lie. You know, with the winning trio and all that kind of stuff, all those records, they're going to see it. They're going to be like, oh, wow, that's the Spurs. Oh, the Spurs for 20 years. I was joking with the young fellas. I'm with the Spurs right now, spending time with the young guys. And they just did back-to-back 60-loss seasons, you know. I can only imagine 60 loss in one season, back-to-back. I was like, my worst season is 48 wins. And half of my career, I went to the conference finals. Mm-hmm. So, and I made the playoffs every year. So I was telling that to the young guys, and it was like putting in perspective how long how good and for how long. So exactly. You have a long way to go before you can compare to us, you know, and so that gives them motivation. You know, we have a high standard with the Spurs.
Yeah, I definitely feel that way, man. I feel like y'all deserve as much credit as possible of what y'all accomplished, what y'all did. I just feel like, you know, the style of play, you know what I'm saying, or different like that, that might be the reason. But like you said, the numbers in the championship.
Boring and stuff like that.
Yeah, the numbers in the championships don't lie. And if you're an NBA player, you know anything about it, it's hard as hell to just win, let alone win a championship.
Exactly. And so that's why when people sometimes I see in the media, they say, oh, we were boring or whatever. I'm like, but if we're boring and we win 4 championships, I'll do it every day because like you just said, D-Mouse, it's so hard to win. And when you're done with your career, all you remember is, you know, the championships, you know, the championships like me, that's all people talk about, you know, is like the championships that we won, you know. And so now I'm very proud of what we accomplished.
Yeah, well, I say it for you, Tony, since you don't want to say it. Y'all motherfuckers need to start mentioning the Spurs when y'all mentioning all these goddamn champions. Because y'all did y'all thing, too.
It's kind of the same way it went every season for them. Like, the whole time they would be in the background. They talking about whatever teams they think the new hot teams this year. And they trot along, doing their thing, win 60 games, get to the playoffs, and then win the championship. So, like, it's kind of, you know, par for the course of the way they've been handling them. But it's all good. I mean, like he said, the numbers don't lie, but more importantly, the players know. We know. All us respect it. So that's what really matters.
Exactly, Q. And so for me, I'd rather have the respect of D-Miles, you saying that than the media. I don't care like what they say, you know, but the players, like last month, I was playing a friendly game in China with Ray Allen, you know, and Stephon Marbury, Coutinho Mobley, and they show so much respect for what we accomplished. I prefer 100 times that than the media.
Yeah.
everything either come to an end or you have to leave. How did you feel and how hurt you was that you had to move on and go to another team at the end of your Spurs career?
That was hard. That was hard because I wanted to finish as a Spur, and I wanted to finish my career in San Antonio. So that was really hard. That was really hard. But at the same time, no hard feelings, obviously, with Pop and the organization because they don't want to give me a chance when I was 19 years old. So there's no way that I'll be mad at them. Never. And at the same time, I was going into a situation where I went to play for my idol. So that's how I became friends with Michael and spent more time with MJ. And so that was a great experience, even for me, to prepare for my after career and prepare business, because now I own a team, in the EuroLeague. And so everything that I learned with MJ, it helped me for my new career now in the business world.
So when you got there, you were taking meetings and trying to like pick MJ's brain on that type of stuff and trying to get like different type of advice from him?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I did. I was preparing, my new career. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to own a basketball team. I wanted to build my academy. And that's what I did. I bought Asvel, Lyon, the city. The name of the city is Lyon in France. Lyon. And then I built the academy. And we've been very successful, with my team. We won 4 championships in France. We're doing very well in the EuroLeague. And with my academy, we did back-to-back first-round pick of the draft, with Victor and Zachary Rizaché. They all played in Asvel.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
When I see a picture of you with the Charlotte Hornet jersey on, it look like it's Photoshop. Like
that's like when you see the memes where like players in jerseys we forgot about. That's what that is right there. That's like D Wade in the Cleveland jersey. It's like, wait, when did that happen? Like you don't even want to remember that.
I'll take that. So speaking of Wemby, he's definitely one of my favorite players right now. I hope he makes the All-Star team. I'm so happy CP chose to go over there with him. Tell us just, you seeing him from a kid to now and just how he's carrying himself, how he's being a total professional and just how he's playing.
I'm so proud of him, seeing him as a kid and going through, Asvel, my team, we won a championship together, in France with Asvel. To see him like it was destiny to go to San Antonio and the Spurs, and the way he carried himself, he's just unbelievable. And his rookie season was unbelievable. His second year has been amazing so far, and I think he should be an All-Star. Yeah. And I think in 2 years, I think he's going to be the best player in the NBA. And I think we're very lucky, and we should appreciate that, in San Antonio. Like after David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and now Victor, it's crazy the tradition of big men, with the Spurs. And I hope he's going to bring us a lot of championships. We've been losing, the last 5-6 seasons since the big 3 left. And so I hope he can bring back the Spurs, winning in the winning ways and try to contend for championships.
After playing back in the day, playing a great series, a 7-game series against CP, would you ever thought you would see Chris Paul in a San Antonio Spurs jersey?
Man, look at that.
Hell no. No, I was so surprised. And we have the same agent, with CP, and I'm very good friend with CP. Through the years, we always stayed in contact. My parents, his parents, they get along very well. Like we always stayed in contact. And when he told me he was going to sign with the Spurs before it was announced officially, I was like, no way. I'm like, what? But then I was like, man, it's going to be great for Victor. He's going to have one of the best point guards ever. Like he's going to learn so much from him because Chris is like a coach, and he's at the end of his career, so he wants to teach and all that kind of stuff. So it's a blessing to have him with us and to have him in our organization.
I thought that was a great decision by CP, man, and it's looking very well, man. You can just feel the knowledge that he's just putting on that team and putting on them young guys, Castle, Wemby. All the rest of the guys, man. Shout out to CP.
Castle is going to be good, D-Mouse.
Hey, listen, he is special.
Man, he's gonna be good.
Young
He's
boy
gonna be
is
good.
special. Two-way too. Both he
Yeah.
defending and, but like,
Yeah.
hey, I know you didn't notice his little hesitation out of the Euro. He got a little ism to his Euro step. He pause at the end. People be jumping, then he go lay it up.
Yeah.
He's gonna be good, Q. He's gonna be really good.
Yeah. I definitely know. Besides the CP, man, like I say, when you put others' career above your career, because he could have chased and went and big three'd or big forward anywhere he really wanted to go. For him to choose to rock with them young guys, that's love right there. France, the way France played this summer, how proud are you? How proud are you of the team and the way they played in the Olympics this summer and represented France?
Man, D Miles, I was so happy because I feel like I'm the pioneer, of French basketball and try to bring it to the highest level. And when I see the new generation, with Victor and all the players who was in that team, I think we can be very proud as French people the way we did the Olympics, because I think it was one of the best Olympics ever.
Yeah.
And to have the opportunity to play the US, who's the best team in the world, to play them in the finals, man, it was unbelievable. And I was front row. I was watching the game. The game was amazing. It was unbelievable.
Game,
Steph Curry got hot with the 4-3. That was nice to watch. But for Victor and for France, it was already nice, to play in the finals against a silver medal. And I think it's the first step, because I think we're going to keep competing against the US, because we have like 10 plus French guys in the NBA. And I think in 2028, man, I hope USA is ready, because we definitely going to
tell them they coming.
Going out the gambit, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. How special was coming back and getting that jersey put up in the rafters in San Antonio? How special was that after everything, all the memories and everything, you get that moment with the fans and everybody?
That was pretty cool, because San Antonio is really home for me, and so to share that experience, because the Hall of Fame, you so far from San Antonio and your team, that kind of stuff. So that's their Hall of Fame for them, to have the jersey and the jersey go up. And it's funny because every time I had shoot-arounds, every arena, I would always look up, at who jersey was retired.
Exactly.
I love the history, of the game, and just to be part of that history now, and especially that franchise, because the Spurs, you only have the best of the best up there. It's only 10 jerseys retired in 75 years. It's very selective. It's pretty cool.
For a guy like you won championship, made all-star teams, been high in the MVP vote. When you have a career like that, that final chapter of the book is Hall of Fame. When you got the phone call to tell that you finna be elected to be a Hall of Fame, tell us that process and how that went.
Man, I had the goosebumps. I had goosebumps when I got the call and you hear the voice and he's like, man, you made the first ballot 2003, Hall of Fame. I was like, wow. I never thought a kid like me from where I started in France can have something like this or experience something like this. I never thought something like that can be possible for a kid like me. And so it was just an unbelievable feeling, like the whole process. And to do it with Coach Pop, to do it with Becky, who I'm very, very close. She's like my big sister. Pau Gasol, that was my teammate, and we battled all those years with France and Spain. With Dirk, I went to Dirk's jersey retirement. Pretty good friend with Dirk too. And then D Wade, love D Wade. I was like one of my favorite players to watch. I'm like, I'm going to a class that's a hell of a class, And
we was in the building for that. We was that experience. We was D Wade's guest, so we got to see you up in there. Salute, salutations.
Thank you. No, it was unbelievable feeling, and that's something that it will stay forever. And that's what I would explain, my kids. If you work hard and you have that work ethic and you discipline, you can make the impossible happen.
Tell me this, like you there in San Antonio right now, you there visiting with the team and the organization, you gonna see Pop. Talk about his legacy and how great he's been in the level of consistency and the standard that he's set and held in place for this long. And because you talked about the duration, how hard it is to do something for a long time, and like he's the epitome of that. You know what I'm saying? Talk about his legacy and what he means to that organization, and to all of you guys that came up under him.
The first word that comes in my mind is rare. It's very rare to do what he did, especially in the business that competitive and where people are not very patient. They'll give a chance. Like you saw Mike Brown, was best coach of the NBA, and this year he was fired. It's a very, very tough business, and not very patient. Like teams, you have 2 years and then you get traded. Remember Q, like you had a good team with Phoenix, but they traded
1 year, boom.
Like it's crazy. Like you get traded and you're like, man, we just started to gel. Like we're in a tough business. So to put it in perspective, like what Pop has done is so rare that I'm not even sure that will happen again.
Right.
To be with the same franchise for 30 years, 5 championships, 20 or 21, 50 plus win seasons. Like it's crazy. The run is just crazy, and so it just shows that he's in the conversation of the one of the best coach ever in the NBA. If you think like Red Auerbach or Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, Pop has to be up there.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. You definitely got to mention him with that. Tell me this. So you all of the different awards, everything, you've had your jersey retired, you in the Hall of Fame. What was it like when you found out you about to be a damn knight? You are Sir Tony Parker. You are a knight in real life. Like, tell me, like, you talk about all them process we sort of familiar with. Yeah, we didn't seen or heard about, like, how in the hell you become a knight? A real knight, everybody. I'm not talking about some playful. I mean, just for real.
Do they give you like armor and the sword? No,
do you gotta bow down? Do they do the
sword? I didn't have the sword. No, that's pretty special too. When I got the call from the president, basically it was the way I represented France, in the US, and so that's how I got it, and I was like, wow, like that's another level, because you talk about that's a country, and how you're going to represent them as a citizen, and how you inspire a whole generation of French people. And so when I got the president, it's funny, like I had like goosebumps, because I was like, man, that's crazy. So then I went to the White House, not the White House, but the White House for France,
Right.
It's called l'Élysée. And at first I was like, I was acting all cool, I was like, it's okay, it's just that, man, when the president came in and it became like serious, like an official thing, man, I was like not joking, I was like really like had goosebumps, and I was like, wow, that's another level.
Yeah, because it's like, think about it. Even if you want to shoot for them stars, like people say, I want to make the Hall of Fame. I want to get my jersey retired. Yeah. Who the hell tell you I want to get knighted someday? Like, like you can't even fathom that, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's crazy.
That thing comes like, it just tells you, Q, that you imagine with basketball, everything that the doors that open, just playing the sport that you love, and it opens so many doors. Like because of basketball, I was able to do so much stuff in my life. We're just blessed, man. Just blessed.
Super.
What do you think about the league now? When you came in the league, it wasn't a crazy amount of international players. Now, it's a whole lot of international players, and not only are they in this league, they're MVPs. They're top 5 in the league. They're all NBAs up and down the board. Just tell us about how you seen it when you came into now, how the league is changed and broadened worldwide. A lot of these guys that seen you from overseas and so forth they had dreams to be, here like you was and to make a career out of the NBA.
No, I think it's amazing. That was David Stern's vision. When he opened the NBA players, to go play in the Olympics. That was the vision. To make it worldwide. And I was one of the first product of that. I watched the Dream Team play in Barcelona. Paul Gasol, Dirk Nowitzki. We all watched those Olympics. And then we inspire the next generation. With Giannis and Luka and Wemby. And they're going to inspire another generation of players. And so now that's what he wanted. He wanted a worldwide league with players coming from everywhere, and that's what happened. And I think it's great. I think it's great for the game. It makes the international competition even more interesting now because you got players, a lot of players from the NBA playing those competition, and I just think it makes the game even better.
It's crazy because D Miles, like he said, he played against you in the Hoop Summit, the Nike Hoop Summit thing when y'all were coming out. I played against Dirk. And you know that was the game that Dirk after that.
Dirk was on the first one.
He was out there looking like Gal from Street Fighter with the box cut. That was when like he came out. He after that game he went to the league. We was like, man, who is this dude? They was calling him the Duncan Dutchman and all this, but like that's when he was like way faster and a little bit more athletic than when he got to the league. But like that game is like a springboard for a lot of the international guys when they get in that game. They get seen for the first time and get on that map.
In this new era of players, you know, a lot of guys are doing other things outside of basketball. One of the things that they're doing is rapping. You have a #1 rap song on the French chart. What was your rap name? Like,
I didn't have a rap name. It was Tony Parker.
It was just Tony Parker.
Actually, if I did have one, it was Tony P. You know, Tony P. That was Tony P. That was basically my name, and that was just part of a, like, you know, when you're young, you know, you want to try stuff, and you have so much pressure with basketball that I just wanted to do something else, you know, just to get my mind off of basketball sometimes. And music, you know how music and basketball, the entertainment world and basketball, they're so close, you know. All the basketball players, they want to do music and vice versa. You know, the music guys, they want to play basketball. And for me, it was just a great experience, you know, to have an opportunity to do a song, you know, with Fabulous and Jamie Foxx, you know, at the time, and all the best French rappers. It was just a way for me to express myself, you know, and it was just a great experience.
You had a song with Fab and Jamie.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look that up.
But I did a whole album, you know, and the videos and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Hey, tell me this. He talking about other interests and everything. How did you get to the point to where you got enough statues and of different action figures and
the Marvels,
the Marvel guy? Like, how did you get like let's use like the Lopez twins for example. They get like they live out here in Disney. They big Disney fans. They get like little old stuff from Disney and they might put it in their house or around their yard somewhere. How did you get to the point to where the museum is coming to you to do a whole exhibit with everything that you got going on? Like, how did you come to accumulate that many statues and that type of stuff to where it's like you've held whole exhibits of just your stuff? How did that happen?
It started because, you know, my friends, my brothers, they never knew what to buy me for my birthday. Okay. And so they knew I was a big movie fan. I love to watch movies and Marvel, obviously, I'm a big fan of Marvels.
Marvel is the best. Thank you. Marvel is the best.
And so that's how it started. You know, they bought me a small statue. It was Spider-Man. Spider-Man was the first one, and then they bought me Batman. And then I was like, okay, I don't collect anything, but I was like, you know, I was having like 5-6 statues, and then I was like, okay, I'll buy him, and I started to do a whole collection in my gym. And one day I was playing a poker game, you know, with Timmy and Malik, and we were playing, and Becky, we were playing, and we invited a guy who knows very well the Museum of San Antonio, and he was like, man, Tony, your collection is amazing. How did you did all of this, you know? And I was like, oh, working with different, you know, companies, you know, and I have connections in the movie world, you know, so I got like crazy statues. And so he was like, I think they will love to show off your collection. And so one day the museum people of San Antonio, they came, they're like, Tony, we love it. We'll take your whole collection. And they did an exhibit for 5 months. And it was one of the best exhibits in the history of the museum. That's crazy.
Oh, that's dope. Crazy. That's dope. I have a start bench trade. You have to start one, bench one, trade one.
Okay.
Jason Kidd, Stephon Marbury, Steve Nash. Who do you start? Who do you bench? Who do you trade?
Killing me. I start with J Kidd, and the bench is Steve Nash, and I'm cutting Steph.
Okay. One more.
Okay.
These all in the prime. Steph Curry, Derrick Rose, CP.
Oh,
TP.
That's a tough one.
Who do you start? Who do you bench? Who do you trade?
I start Steph Curry, Chris Paul at the bench, and I cut D-Rose. But that's a tough one because you say all on their
That's
prime.
crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Hey, tell me this. This is what I like to ask, man. You know, we all come from humble beginnings, but you done made your fair share of wages here and there. You know.
Yes.
So when you felt comfortable, I like to know what did TP go do that you look back now like was you spent the bag on? You dropped the bag on somewhere. You looking back like that was crazy, but like in that moment, it was everything for you.
I never went really crazy with the money because I came from nothing, and my main thing when I made it, I wanted to help my family. So I bought my mom a house, like typical stuff that most of the guys we do. You know, I bought a house for my mom. I took care of my dad. I gave money to my brothers to help them, you know, with college and all that kind of stuff. I never really went crazy. The first time I say I went crazy is I always was very careful how Coach Pop will see what I do, you know. and so the biggest thing I wanted to buy when I was young, I wanted to buy a Lamborghini, you know. And I told myself, I arrived in the league in 2001, and I told myself, I was like, I'm going to wait that I'm an all-star. Because you need to be an all-star to have a Lamborghini. You know, that's what I had in my head. I was like, can't be a backup and come with a Lamborghini. You know, I was like, you can't do that. And so...
You might need to talk to some of these young fellas running around now.
Yeah, because I felt like you know you have to earn it. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna drive a Lamborghini, you know you're gonna be like okay. And so that's what I did. You know, and when I made the All-Star team, I was like, okay, I don't want Pop to think that I have the big head, so I'm gonna wait that I confirm the All-Star. So 2007, I made my second All-Star, and that's when I went crazy and I bought a Lamborghini.
Okay. I don't know why I felt like you might have had an Aston Martin Vanquish at one point. You look, you know, you look like you the size and all that James Bond car. I don't know why.
I never had an Aston Martin. I was more Lamborghini and Ferrari.
Okay.
You had a lot of teammates, and I know y'all the big three, but you, Manu, and Tim, if you had to add two more teammates to make that ultimate five, who would be that ultimate five that you played with?
David Robinson and Kawhi Leonard.
I like that.
I'm staying with the Spurs.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
I like
for sure.
That. At your house, you builded a cliff over your pool.
Yes.
Man had Mount Everest up there.
Yeah, man, I seen that. I said, man, Tony needs to invite us over, man, so we can jump in the pool.
But the next time, you know what? Next time we do the podcast, you are gonna have to come and we'll jump from the pool.
All right, man, we coming. We definitely
jump from the
coming.
pool. We'll make it happen. But that was always one of my dreams. Like when I decided, I signed my big deal with San Antonio and I built my house. Like I love being in the water. When I was a kid, we didn't have much. And every time my mom brought me to the beach and I swim in the water, and that was the best thing ever because we couldn't afford going to ski resorts or vacation or blah, blah, blah. So our vacation is my mom bringing us to the beach and swim in the water, take the waves, and anywhere we can go where we can swim, that'd be my favorite. She'll bring us to different places where you can jump, from cliffs and stuff like that. And it just reminds me of when I was young. And it keeps me grinded, it keeps me like good. And I don't know, it was symbolic, to have that cliff at the house. It reminds me when I was a kid.
How high is the cliff?
It's 38 feet. It's high. It's
like
10 meters.
Volcano Bay or something. Like it's like one of these, just like, it's official. This ain't no game. It's official.
No, it's a big jump.
No, when I seen it, I was like, woo.
It's like the Olympics, 10 meters, diving. That's what it is.
Ooh, boy. Yeah, one of the things I love about basketball, like Q was just saying with the Hoop Summit, man, I got a chance to see you play in the Hoop Summit and play against you. After that, we always follow guys for their career and watch them for their whole career. It was an honor and pleasure to watch and play against you and see you do your thing, man. So congratulations on all your endeavors and keep going, man, and doing your thing.
Yes, sir, man. We appreciate you. The Sir Tony Parker, ladies and gentlemen. Sir Tony Parker. This is our first night on the Knuckleheads. We got a night on here, y'all. Whole damn night. Sir Tony Parker. We appreciate you, my man.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.